So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right, so, and I'm going to close my door too so we can have a conversation. I like it. It's so important that you continuously trust God on this journey, but that you also do the work of working on your own mindset, working on how you see yourself, working on really believing that you are worthy of the man, that you are really worthy of the man that you believe God has for you. So when a man is interested in you, you guys, he will pursue, he will lead. And here's the other thing about men, you guys. They love to, when we're talking about men who are confident, go-getters, men who are really just, men. Like, they love to step into leadership, Lo says she says she's a witness. Well, praise God. That means you're married. Girl, that's good. Congratulations. They will lead, And a lot of times we hear about these men who just won't lead or, are shy or whatever, guys. But if it's meant to be, it will be. And I really want to stress that, like I said, back to Romans 8:28, because I get so many DMs, so many emails about this same topic of men who just, for some reason or another, don't seem to be leading. And so if they're not leading, you guys, it's not your job. This is what I wish I could just sit down with you all and but I can do it through here. Sit down and just remind you guys that if he's not leading, then it's not because he doesn't know how to lead, because men innately, they learn to lead. It's not because he doesn't know how to lead, it's because he doesn't want to lead, or he doesn't want to lead with you. Understand that if he's not pursuing you, hey sis, hey, it's because he don't want to pursue you. That's just what it is. If you have to listen to these words, okay? Put this in your heart. I'm gonna scoot up close. If you have to convince, chase, beg, manipulate, control, or attempt to coerce a man to be with you, the gig is gonna get old after some point. Meaning, like, I was having this conversation with my mom as well as some other married women. Meaning, like, eventually he's going to get tired of it. It may work for a minute or so, but you want a marriage that's going to last, not a marriage where he chose you as a charity case. Lovely Barry said, me and my friend were literally talking about this the other night. You don't want a man who chose you as a charity case because you weren't really the one who he wanted. So all of this manipulation and controlling and begging and multiple back-to-back text messages, you're texting him back-to-back, you're asking him on dates, you're offering to pay for his dates, you are doing all of this behavior that's just very low value is what I'll call it. A man who really wants you, you won't have to do all that. When my mom got engaged to my dad, she didn't do all that. The women that are married that are my mentors, they didn't do all that. I have been telling my friend, don't chase behind along with other foolery. Because here's the point. If you start off chasing, you're gonna always be chasing. And the point is that, like, you don't want to be in a marriage, and I wrote a blog about this when I was really heavy into blogging. You don't want to be in a marriage where the guy was like, I didn't ever want you like that, no way. You pursue me. Because sometimes a guy will be bored, or he'll just be tired, and he'll be wanting to settle, because guys get tired of heartbreak too. So if you're around when he's just like, well, let me just settle, she's a good girl, I can grow to fall in love with her like that. And so he might go ahead with it. you know? But the end game, I always say, is not getting married, it's staying married. So the way that you get him, you were chasing him to get him, you're going to be chasing him to keep him. So that's why, like, for me, I'm not rushing into a marriage because I want it to be right. I told her God is somebody just for her. Yeah, I want it to be right, you know? Like, no, we're not rushing over here. So a man is going to pursue. Remember, men pursue. Men chase. Especially men who are... Do you guys know the difference between an alpha man, which means a man who takes control, takes charge? They pursue. If they are more passive, relaxed, or whatever like that, they're not going to pursue. But if he's like that and he wants you, he will pursue you. That's just how it works. So all these excuses that we make up with our friends, we sit around in our little circles and talk about the situation. We come up with, here go our friend grabbing our phone, trying to text him for us or call him for us because we haven't heard from him in such and such amount of time. And we're like, oh, girl, don't do that. Girl, don't do that. But we really want her to do it, so we let her do it. All of that is like chasing behavior. Yeah, no rushing. Let go and let God do his work. So you really have to know your worth. Chasing behavior. Guys. So you really got to know, your worth. And know who you are, just from like a spiritual standpoint, but just also a standpoint as a woman. And that's why it's so important. I think that sometimes we don't talk about this part because we're just so just focused on the spiritual aspect. But I think that as a woman, it's important that you also put yourself first. Aside from the Lord, the next thing should be you. Some moments for your happiness, some moments for your well-being. How are you? And I think that a lot of times, whether you're a single woman, whether you're a mother, you single mom, professional woman, sometimes you can forget that you need time to love on you and remind you that you are worthy of being loved. Because sometimes the reason why we don't believe we're worthy of the chase, we're worthy of the pursuit, is because we haven't even reinforced or validated that within ourselves. So it's important, you guys, really work on seeing your worth, and you have to get to a point, like you guys were with me in my journey last year. If you go back to my YouTube videos, I was devastated because I was I don't know when my husband's coming or how he's gonna come, and I was just so devastated, right? I was crying in that video, but I'm in a really good place. It's a journey, but you got to be willing to take the journey on yourself before you be looking for a husband or a man to validate you again. So you validate yourself through Christ, you validate yourself through spending time in his word, and you validate yourself through your own time of caring for yourself, loving yourself, getting your pedicures, getting your manicures, doing things that make you happy, taking care of you, Yesterday I saw a new lipstick. Well, I was trying on new lipstick in MAC that made me do a happy dance. What's your opinion on emotional and spiritual boundaries, like not talking about the future or praying together until marriage? Are you exclusive? I have so many questions that just popped into my head with that. Are you exclusive with him? Thank you. Because if you're exclusive with him, and you have already stated, which I'm going to be teaching you guys in my mentorship group, the way to script it and say it, but if you've already stated that your intent, the only way you're going to be exclusive is the intent is towards marriage, then there should be an understanding. Are you exclusive? Because if the understanding is that that's where you wanted to end up with, why not? But if you haven't made the conversation about being exclusive and he knows that your intent is to get married, like that's where you eventually want to go, then, I don't know. I feel that a lot of times as women, we try to control the conversation, and we try to control where it's going, and we try to do a lot of controlling, but it just comes across a lot of times as controlling, and it also it's not a way to follow a man's leadership. So if he brings up the future, if he begins to talk about it, you can say things like, oh, I would love for that to happen one day with the person that I'm supposed to be with, or whoever the person is that God has for me. Say something like that. You don't have to talk about it with him. And then if you are exclusive, yeah, why not? But like I said, a lot of that times when we try to control the conversation, it's because of fear. And it's because we're controlling. And I know because I have been in that situation where we really do it out of fear, because we fear that maybe it'll be too good to be true. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe he'll lead us on like the other guy. And then it's just this self-fulfilling prophecy because we operate out of a place of fear. So I wouldn't focus so much on what to talk about or what not to talk about, especially when you get down like the scripting and how to begin to interact in a way that's comfortable and just really just like allows him to lead. You will be in such a much more confident place. Like I said, I'll be talking more about that in my mentorship group. So I hope I answered your question. I hope I didn't come across like, girl, is you exclusive? I just want to know, because the other thing about exclusivity is that you, like, we'll talk more about it, but you need to make sure that if you're exclusive, that the conversation has already been had about you don't want to just be a girlfriend forever, And I think that sometimes we end up in that situation where we're girlfriends forever. You don't want to be a girlfriend forever. You don't want to be in a situationship forever. So knowing how to communicate that, knowing how to talk about that, that's very, very key and very, very vital. And you'll be in such a much more confident place once you know how to. But honestly, guys, I think that as women, for too long, we really have allowed for ourselves to just lead with so many rules about conversation, rules about this, rules about that. And it makes it very hard when we try to allow a man to lead. So there's ways to answer questions without being on a defensive. There's ways to answer questions while still being sweet and feminine. Just like even the way that I'm teaching right now, this is a totally different way than how I act with whoever I'm dating. You know what I mean? Like, you can still be feminine and sweet and just, let us smiling, but you can explain your boundaries. And I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do that in my mentorship group. She says, I'm not begging or dragging anybody to act right. Knowing to let be known from the beginning? Yeah. How old are you? She said, should she let it be known from the beginning? Because here's the thing. If you're over 25, 30 years old, we're trying to get married out here. So, oh, you a baby. Well, once you get over that 25, 30-ish year mark, I'm going to be going over the exact weight in my group, my mentorship group. So if you're interested, DM me. We're going to be talking about scripting and everything else. Because really, as women, we really need to know how to just navigate things more wisely. We come across it too brash, too much of just too much with all of our rules. And then we wonder, why it's not working. But when you are talking about exclusivity, you make the intention known. Because here's what happens. If you don't make the intention known that I desire marriage, well, before you agree to it, you need to explain that you desire marriage. I feel so flattered that you want to be exclusive with me. I desire marriage. is that something that would be offered? And that's the type of stuff we're going to be going over in my mentorship group. Like, you need to say that, because here's what happens. The topic of marriage doesn't ever come up, and then here you are 2 years down the road and you're like, oh, I need to ask what's going on. I don't know. 10 years down the road and you still aren't proposed to. And that's how you have women that are in their 40s who still don't have a ring. And you gave up 15 years of your life for a man who you could have said from the beginning, this is what I desire within the next couple of years. Makes sense, right? What does an exclusive relationship mean? It's going to be a paid mentorship group for people who want more access and want more scripting and want more tools, because I really am looking to work with marriage-minded women. That's what I want. I really want, the Single Woman Suite is for those who want to be whole and fulfilled, but this next mentorship group is going to be for those who are whole and fulfilled and they want to move on. Now they're to the place, okay, what am I doing that I keep repeating in the way that I'm communicating with men that is keeping me stuck in the same patterns? How am I coming across with men that's keeping me in the same patterns, self-defeating patterns? Okay? We will also have a lot of teaching on some of the things that I have been learning and working on and honing as far as being feminine and the way that you come across. And guys, you don't want to learn about feminine, the way to be feminine and stuff from someone who's not feminine. I'm just saying. That's a whole nother topic. But so that's something that I'm going to be making available. Get ready, y'all. And it's going to be exclusive. But you really need to learn how to navigate wisely, because sometimes men will say, oh yeah, you can be exclusive. And you know why they will tell you that you can be exclusive? So that you can be off the market, so that you can't date nobody else, and they have no intention of ever marrying you. So you need to bring it up. You need to, when they say, can you be exclusive? Can you be my girlfriend? Oh, I feel so flattered you want to be exclusive. I feel so flattered. Like, thank you so much. Like, but I just want to make sure that the offer of marriage is on the table. You know, because that's something I want to do in the next few years. I really want to get married in the next couple years. See? Femininity is not just appearance. Femininity is the way that you are as a woman. It's your ability to communicate as a woman and your knowledge of how to do so in the way to present yourself and carry yourself in a way that gets results. Femininity is the knowledge of how to script and speak in a way to men that causes you to get results. A lot of us, we are so, because I want to go to the Cheesecake Factory. You didn't understand me the first time I said it? Like, what's wrong with you? Or we're like, you not gonna open my door? What's your problem? You don't know where to go? What's wrong with you? It's right there. Make a left. Make a left, to the left, to the left. No, that's not how you talk or communicate to a man who's supposed to lead you. Y'all laughing. That's not how you communicate to a man who's supposed to lead you. That's not how you show your daughters, your future daughters, how to respect a man that's leading you. You know, just using wisdom. And some of the tools, like, I've started to practice on married women, and the things that I've been learning, I've been telling them to implement in their marriages. They were like, Duana, it works on their husbands. Okay? So the stuff that I am implementing and learning, I want to share with my single sisters so that it doesn't have to be another 5 years before we get married, y'all. It's time. Especially for those of you that are serious. So, anyway, so that's the point about being exclusive. And then the other point about being exclusive, guys, is that you can't be afraid to have the conversation of exclusivity. Yeah, I mean, as far as when he brings it up. When he brings it up. A lot of times we're pressing it. Oh, where do we stand? What are we, where do you see, where do we stand? I'm going to teach you guys the 3 keys of a woman that knows that God has her best interests at heart. And you trust the leadership, you trust the timing. Like, when he brings it up, that means he wants you. If you're bringing it up, he hasn't even decided he wants you yet. That's where it is. You're bringing it up. You want to... And that's why so many of us end up heartbroken. When a man has made up his mind that he wants you, that's where you begin to bring up the conversation of, oh, I feel so flattered, but you know, I want to get married in the next few years. It's draining when you're right, lovely Valerie. It's draining. And if you want to learn more about me, I have a blog at DewanaHarvey.com. If you want to learn more about me, you can check out all my links in the bio. If you want to learn more about me, that's how you connect with me. But it's draining. What I've experienced is it's draining when you're from the standpoint of, in my personal experience, when you're coming from a place where you want him more than he is giving attention or is paying attention or wants you, right? You can check my YouTube videos for that. So, as women who have higher esteem, like I said, when you're doing this work on yourself, what we're going to be talking about in my mentorship group and all this, you don't allow yourself to get into this chasing position where you're just steadily chasing him and wanting him so bad and he's not paying attention to you. But you really allow for yourself to be in this place of thankfulness for where you're at and trusting God and being patient that a man who wants to be exclusive with you, who's godly, is going to ask you. And it'll happen. But yes, it is draining when you're on the other end and you want him and he hasn't even brought up the topic of exclusivity. Do you guys have any other questions? So you need to really understand what I said, you guys. Men are hunters. Men know what they want. And you as a Christian, godly, high quality woman have to be okay with going at the pace that the man is leading. Because so often we take over and we're trying to lead it. And then we're wondering why he's getting frustrated. The relationship seems frustrated. We're trying to figure out when we're exclusive. Let him lead. I know it's scary. I know it's scary to lean back, especially if you're an independent woman, you have your own car, your own house. It's scary. But what's even scarier is doing it the way you've been doing it and continuing to get your results and continuing to get your heart broken. Right? Continuing to chase, thinking on this guy so much. You're like, I already like him. I don't like nobody who don't like me. The end. No. I don't even let myself start to fantasize, wonder, hope for. If he hasn't made his intention known that he even has a remote inkling in me, I don't want it. Cause I know I'm wonderful. And I know that if he likes me, he'll come and approach me. And if not, then it just wasn't for him. That's how I feel. And that's the way you got to feel about yourself. I am. Lovely Battery's laughing. Shoot. There's only one Dwana in this world. I don't care who else is in the world. And it's not called being conceited. It's called being a woman who's virtuous and knows her worth. That's all it is. So, all right, y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this talk. Like I said, I'll be releasing more information. It's going to be an awesome mentorship group to work more closely with me. Really it's going to change your life. Literally your life. Your dating life. It's going to change the way that you see yourself. We're going to be doing lives in the group. Those questions about exclusivity, the way to script, the way to bring up celibacy, the way to say things. It's going to change your life. So anyways, I'm excited for that. That's going to be coming soon. I know I've been announcing it, but it's going to be coming soon. But you guys have any other questions before I get off, or any other way that I can encourage you guys before I get off? If you do, just go ahead and type it. But really start to see yourself as worthy and valuable. That's the main thing. Go ahead and type your question. And if he's not pursuing or chasing you, stop taking it so personal. Thank you. Have a blessed year 2019. Thank you. I don't think that it's low-key sad, because I don't. Okay, heart to heart. Listen. It's not sad. It's just a way of learning things and learning things again, or learning new information. Because what I'm going to be teaching you guys in the mentorship group, in the paid mentorship group, for those that are willing to go to the next level, is that this is the way that it always was, you guys. And it's the way that women were more so followers of the man's leading. The man led, the women followed. The man made a majority of decisions, the women followed. It's only when we as women decide that we're going to lead, this is how you get to the store, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to wear, this is what, this, that, and the third, that we see so much confusion and so much chaos. You know? Do you want to be led by a man, or do you want to lead the man? I think it's relearning. We have such like an independent mindset, right? Like, because we have our own careers, jobs, houses. But it's relearning how to talk in a way that even if he isn't like this man who's just A1 leader, where you pull out the leadership in him. But this is what we're getting into once we get married. I hear you. She said men are not men these days, but are they not men these days because they aren't men, or are they not men these days because we as women slap them down and choose to lead before they even have a chance, because we don't honor or even know the proper way to speak to them? No, he says, I think that this will be a good restaurant. I don't like the restaurant. So then you say he's not leading, but he did make a choice. Right? So we really got to begin to, for the women that you want this work, you really have to, if you're prepared to move into a marital mindset, and this is, like I've said, what I'm learning, what my marriage mentors have taught me, you really have to begin to shift into a place You have to use wisdom with how you speak and begin to draw out the leadership in him. Not that you pacify him, and not that he's your baby boy either. I'm not into that. But in a way, because we're not into mothering, which we'll talk more about in the mentorship group. Because a lot of us, you got to learn about that dynamic too. We mother men. But you have to speak to him a way that he's like, oh, this is my woman, but she respects me. She brings out the king in me. She inspires me to want to do things and trusts me to lead her. We're not gonna, there's several different relationship dynamics. We're not gonna mother. That's what we're gonna be learning about in the mentorship group. But we want a relationship where the woman is admired and loved and cherished, and the man is respected and loved as well. Yeah, and we're telling them what to do. I'm not your mom. And some of these guys want their mama in these women. And some of us, we fall into it where we just do that anyways. They want to be babied. But here's the thing, and we're going to talk about this more, you guys, is that men don't want to be mothered. They will take your mothering and then go find a woman that won't mother them. They will take your mothering, you telling them what to do, where to be, how to be, and then go find a woman who won't do all that. You see it all the time. We'll also be talking about roles of women as well. Like, yeah, men are supposed to be providers. I agree. And women, you should have the option to work if you want. So it's like, it's so in depth. Like, I could go on and on and on. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to close it here. It's just so much. But I'm just excited to take you guys on this journey with me. In the meantime, you guys be blessed. Really come to a higher level in Christ. Pray about everything that I share with you. If some of it sounds foreign, take it to Jesus and be like, Jesus is the one that's speaking truth. Is she speaking truth about how to talk to and communicate with men? Pray about it. And if you want to join me live, you can join me live at the Queens of Rise Conference. You can check that out at the link in my bio. All right. I love you guys so much. We're gonna have so much fun live and in person. If you're struggling with wholeness, join the Single Woman Suite. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys soon.